Christmas is the time for giving, and I give you a brand new episode. This week we rented National Lampoons A Christmas Vacation. I'm Kevin Porter, and welcome to Video Rental Chaos. Well, it's just about Christmas, and I sure do hope that all of you are on Christmas vacation right now. That's because one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, National Lampoons Christmas Vacation, hit theaters on December 1st, 1989, capping off a decade of 1980s comedies. This comedy classic has stood the test of Santa and is regarded as a Christmas must-watch every year in most households. So make sure the shitters are not full, and let's jump into National Lampoons Christmas Vacation. The movie opens up with the Griswold family making a trip out to the forest to chop down this year's Christmas tree. Clark, instead of allowing the other driver to safely pass him, decides that it's a great idea to put his family in danger to prove his macho point. Remember everyone, it's not the size of the penis that counts, it's the size of the truck. Finally arriving at their destination, they hike out even further to find that perfect tree. Only though they come up a little bit short as they didn't bring the appropriate saw to cut the tree down. Once they are home, we're introduced to their neighbors, Todd and Margot, as they have to put their 2 cents in regarding the tree also. Well, Clark sure does respond back appropriately to them. After the tree is put up inside their home, Ellen then confirms with Clark that her parents are also going to be coming over for Christmas that year. It's going to be a festive holiday at the Griswold residence as all the in-laws are showing up. We get to find out that Clark has a secret surprise for the family this year. He has already dropped a good chunk of money on this badass swimming pool. Luckily, he has his Christmas bonus to count on to cover the expense. As has been set up in the past vacation films, Clark sure does have a bit of a wandering eye when it comes to the ladies. But I guess there's nothing wrong with seeking lingerie advice from the lady that works in the department store, right? The doorbell rings at the Griswold home. That can only be one thing. The in-laws are here! After all the awkward small talk is over, it's time to bust out the Christmas lights and put the entire neighborhood to shame. Griswold style. Todd and Margot continue with their bougie comments as they hope that Griswold falls and breaks his neck. Come to find out their wish almost came true, but karma also bit them in the ass at the same time. Just remember, Audrey, we are all making sacrifices this Christmas. I'm trying to give up smoking. Once the Christmas lights are up, it's time to test them out. Unfortunately for Clark, the lights are just not working as he looks like an idiot in front of his in-laws, his wife, and his kids. The next morning, Clark heads up to the attic to hide some Christmas presents. But in classic Griswold fashion, he ends up getting locked up there all afternoon. Luckily though, he has women's clothing to keep him warm, and he has his old family films to keep himself entertained. After a series of events, the Griswold Christmas lights are finally illuminating the neighborhood and causing even more issues for Todd and Margot. Finally, Clark is able to have that nostalgic moment with his family, when all of a sudden, Ellen's cousin Catherine and Eddie show up with their rundown RV and 2 kids and a dog. Eddie lets Clark know that times have been tough for the family this Christmas. While Clark is still a couple days out till he starts his own Christmas vacation, he continues to suck up to his boss. We get a pretty fun cutscene where the family goes sledding and Clark ends up using some sort of special grease from his work, and he ends up almost breaking the speed barrier. We get a weird scene where you think Clark is going to turn around with a boner, but ends up just having a genuine conversation with the kid about Santa Claus. The next morning, Clark notices Eddie dumping raw sewage into the emergency drain area. This is where we get the famous line, "Merry Christmas, shitter was full." Classic moment in cinema history. We find out soon that Ellen and Clark want to give Eddie's kids a Christmas as a goodwill gesture to the family. Luckily for them, Eddie's already got a list ready. It's Christmas Eve, and it's time for Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany to join the Wild Bunch. We get a very underwhelming turkey for dinner. Also, we run into an issue where Aunt Bethany's cat is exploded, and Uncle Lewis ignites the Christmas tree with one of his cigars. All during this chaos, a delivery van shows up and drops off the bonus check that Clark has desperately been waiting for. Unfortunately, it turns out that what he thought would be a huge cash bonus that would cover the family's brand new pool, he instead gets the gift that keeps on giving as he receives a certificate for the Jelly of the Month Club. We feel like they've been building up to this moment as finally Clark blows up on the entire family. Clark says all he wants for Christmas is to have his boss right in front of him so he can tell him exactly what he thinks and shove that certificate right up his ass. Well, Eddie took that one to heart. As Clark is reading to the family, he sees Eddie show up with his boss, all wrapped up in a red bow. Well, much like the Grinch, Clark's boss' heart grew that night as he realized he made a mistake by canceling that year's bonuses for the employees. Well, before you know it, the SWAT team is on site and everyone has their hands up in the air. Once Clark's boss smooths everything over with the police, all is well in the Griswold household. The little kids think they're seeing Santa Claus outside. This brings the entire family out to see, but before you know it, Uncle Lewis lights one of his stogies by the raw sewage, and boom! A giant explosion occurs, setting the Santa sleigh on fire and right into the sky. We end the film with the Star-Spangled Banner as the Griswolds say Merry Christmas, and to all, a good night. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is ranked up there to be on the top of the mountain when it comes to Christmas movies. People every year are introducing this movie to their family members for the very first time. Some people love it, but this movie also has its detractors. Not everyone likes the sense of humor because, well, let's face it, a lot of the scenarios are just not based in reality. But to the many out there that don't sing the praise of this movie, I say bah humbug to you and take that Grinch out of your ass while you're at it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's my Christmas present to you for the year 2023. And I want to thank all of you so much for making this little show a part of your life. That being said, let me know what you think of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in the comments section. Till then, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see you in 2024 at the video store.